Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today, me as a project manager, I'm going to explain about the inputs in estimating activity resources in project resource management. The first input that I'm going to explain is project management plan. Project management plan is a document that describes how the project will be executed, monitored, and controlled and closed. It integrates and consolidates all of the subsidiary management plans and baselines and other information necessary to manage the project. The needs of the project determine which components of the project management plan are needed. Project management plan components include but are not limited to resource management plan and scope baseline. The second input is project documents. Project documents that can be considered as inputs for this process include but not limited to activity attributes, activity list, assumption log, cost estimates, resource calendars, and nurse registers. Activity attributes extend the description of the activity by identifying multiple components associated with each activity. The components for each activity evolve over time, and during the initial stage of the project, they include the unique activity identifier, work breakdown structure ID, and activity label or name. When completed, they may include activity descriptions, predecessor activities, successor activities, logical relationships, leads and lags, resource requirements, input dates, constraints, and assumptions.
And then the next one is activity list. That the activity list identify the activities that will need resources. The activity list includes an activity identifier and a scope of work description for each activity in sufficient detail to ensure that project team members understand that work required to be completed. We can see the activity list task dependency like this figure. Next one is assumption log. So the assumption log may have information on productivity factors, availability, cost estimate, and approach to work that will influence the nature and number of team and physical resources. So this is the example of assumption log template. So there are dates and then the month that have a column that's like from to start finish, and then a reason and then the reason, and there's a signature for proof. The next one is cost estimates. So cost estimates can be presented in summary form or in detail. Costs are estimated for all resources that are applied to the cost estimate. The cost of resources may impact resource selection from the quantity and skill level perspective.
In this part of the video, I will explain about resource calendar and resource register in estimate activities resource. The first one is resource calendar. Resource calendar identifies the working days, shift start and end of normal business hour, weekend and public holiday when each specific resource is available. Information on which resource such as team resource, equipment and material are potentially available during a planned activity period is used for estimating resource utilization. Resource calendar also specify when and for how long identified team and physical resource will be available during the project. This information may be at the activity or project level. This includes consideration of attributes such as resource experience and or skill level as well as various geographical location. You can see the example of resource calendar in your screen. And the next one is risk register. The risk register describes the individual risks that can impact resource selection and availability. As you can see, we can define the risk in our project. Where is the event that have a high risk in our project based on their impact and the availability of the event during the project process. The project, yes. I think that's all from me about the resource calendar and the risk register in estimate activity resource.
And there's also enterprise environmental factor. The enterprise environmental factor that can influence the estimate activity resource process usually are resource location, resource availability, team resource skills, organizational culture, published estimating data, and marketplace condition. But there are also others than that, such as this. And the next one is organizational process asset. The organizational process asset that can influence the estimate activity resource process usually are policies and procedure regarding staffing, policies and procedure relating to supplies and equipment, and historical information regarding types of resource used for similar work on previous project. But there are also others than that, such as this. So we need all the input documents to know that the requirement and scope that have been decided before. After that, we can do tools and techniques in deciding the specified amount and characteristic of the resource to finish the project.